So, you know, so my concept was, tripolar dreaming, um, and I had Gail Kennedy, and she was like the Aboriginal dreaming, and Bob was the New York dreaming, and me, I was the Mad Sister dreaming. Because I didn't know that I was really the MK Ultra butterfly dreaming, but everyone else knew. So that really became the sort of underlying joke during the show that was set up in the street theatre that happened in Redfern, and the rehearsal was Zed turning up with a butterfly T-shirt and with everything from Bipolar Bear's music selection to, the hula hoop, whirling dervish, all part of the sort of satanic ritual. Um, because I wanted, like I had the idea, but I also wanted everybody to bring what they had to the table. So I was trying to sort of make it democratic. And, because I mean, oh, it was just terrible from all sides. So anyway, I could tell you a million stories here, but stay on track. So Bob is basically putting everything down. Also, my equipment's falling apart. So he's telling me that nothing I've showed him is good enough, and it all needs re-edit. So I'm madly then going back to the re-edit, and 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 I'm trying, and I'm working on this fucked up equipment, trying to make everything perfect, for the night. This is after 3 months of work. And then Bob goes down to rehearse with Zed, and they work out the night's show. And basically, Zed had come up with this song called Shiny Freckle Face, and I'd said to Bob, I don't know what that song's got to do with the show, and it just doesn't seem to sort of fit. Like now it does, in the context of monarch programming and mind control and satanic ritual abuse and all of that. It's a perfect song, isn't it? Me losing my innocence and somehow taking me back to my shiny freckle face, because he doesn't have a fucking shiny freckle face. He's got a swarthy fucking Serbian face or whatever it is. And that's why when he sent me this, I'm like, where's this come from? You don't have a shiny freckle face, love. Like, what's with the shiny freckle face? Well, it's all that mirroring, it's all that, you know. And Bob knows all this, right? So they're all signalling to each other through the lyrics, through the poetry, through the dress sense. It's all a big joke. I'm running out of tape. Hold on. So anyway, I say to Bob, look, maybe you might want to have a word with Zed about the choice of song. Maybe, he's got another song that'd be better in the show. So Bob tells me he's worked it out. And then at the end of the show, instead of introducing Zed to get up and do the song, he finished off the show. He signed off. He did the last hurrah, the last goodbye. So then Zed came up to me after the show and said, what about my song? Like, I've done all this for my song. I didn't get to sing. And so then that caused that sort of drama. So then I was really like, oh no, I'm sorry, and blah, 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 But then, within 10 minutes or something of that drama, and then I gave him money. He got paid for the night. I mean, he got half of what I think I earned 120 out of that night after 3 months' work. And I think I gave him 60 and I kept 60. When I got home with that $60 that night, I just cried. I cried. I just was like, what is the matter with me? I'm mental. I've just done 3 months' work for $60, and I feel like a wreck. I just felt like so abused. And I just, and just like a slave, which I was. And And, you know, Bob got off on that. He got off on it. He got off on the fact that that the whole futility of my life was being reinforced. Anyway, so yeah, you know, at the end of the show, after that sort of drama, then, you know, Bob gives Ed an album and they're suddenly best buddies, brothers. So, you know, that changed scene pretty quickly. And then, when we got home after the show, Bob said to me, I want to sleep with Nicolette, right? I want to go to bed with your Nicolette. And I was just like, what the fuck, right? Oh, the night before we were walking down the street and there were these two crack whores, and none of these people have ever followed me. I hadn't, you know, I could hear them outside the window, but when I left the place, like there was no attraction, you know what I mean? Like they didn't come anywhere near me, I didn't go anywhere near them, and then suddenly there's these two crack whores following us down the street, and you know, he starts talking to them or whatever, like such a, like, evil vibe around them. I mean, no soul at all. Like, we're talking like Zombieville, you know? Not crack ice, you know, same thing. It just eats away the brain, the soul. It's just... Anyway, and Bob's chatting away with him or whatever. I mean, he thinks he's Bukowski or something, right? I've got to live in this place. It's not romantic. And then they try to get themselves invited up, and he's sort of all for it. And I'm like, no, you know? And when we get upstairs, he's like, oh, we should have invited them up. And I'm like... And the reason why he did that was to put down the sex that he had with me, that it doesn't matter whether he has sex with me, a crack whore, you know, Nicolette, it doesn't matter, you know? Like... it's interchangeable. So it was to devalue me, you know. The crack horse turning up, I don't think that was orchestrated. I mean, that's why there's just an element of this, you know, the satanic side of it. It's just supernatural, you know. Some of it is supernatural. It couldn't have been orchestrated, you know. Other aspects of it are highly, highly orchestrated. So that's, you know, that also puts you into this twilight zone of like, what the fuck's going on? So anyway... Yeah. Get into bed.
Sleep, listen to the lullaby.
Yeah. Do you have your earplugs?
No, I don't. I can't be bothered going to the car and getting them.
Oh, it's too rainy.
It'd be so worth it though. Nah, fuck it. Can't be bothered. If it really bugs me, I'll get up.
Do you mind sleeping on that side?
No, not at all. If I snore, just push me. Because I've been smoking, I'll probably snore. Just push me over.
Okay.
Locked in the bed. All my fears were groundless.
Yeah, lucked out, right? So basically what happened the night of the show was, really, I just hooked up all my handlers and programmers. I mean, I think I've just done that my whole life. I've just, you know, sort of hooked everyone up, the hostess with the mostess. And I had worked so hard on this show, trying to get it up. I had no budget, publicising it, you know, creating it, the whole idea of tripolar dreaming. Bob comes in, he changes it to Prelude to the Apocalypse. He sort of reactivates me, and then he starts humiliating me in front of the locals. Like the first conversation that he had with Zed on the phone when I'd sort of passed him over, because Zed was doing the sound and he was supposed to be doing a song at the end of the show. And I passed the phone to Bob after giving the introduction, and the first thing he says to Zed is, "Oh, she thinks she's a genius," right? So he's already bagging me out. So, but I've also shown him the rehearsal video of Zed in the butterfly T-shirt. So, Bob knows that Zed's on his team, right? And I've already introduced everybody in a group email behind the scenes. And in that group email, Bob started ignoring it. I mean, he was probably talking to everybody individually. I don't know how they, worked everything out. But I sure made a great pathway. I didn't make it difficult, Anyway, and it was a funny night because Bipolar Bear, I didn't know until the last minute whether he was going to turn up or not turn up, and I think Bipolar Bear knew what I was in for, and I think he sort of liked me, I mean, I think a lot of these people, except for the really hardcore satyrs, the ones who are being paid, like the heavy duty programmers, I think, there were as many people who are just sort of possessed or just caught up in it or something. I don't know, but they were a part of it, but I felt they didn't like it. They didn't like what was happening. And they didn't like to see me in pain. They didn't get any pleasure out of it. They were just somehow caught up in the hell too. So maybe Bipolar Bear was one of those. I do like to think the best of people. It's only when I'm just given like an avalanche of evidence of the worst of people that I just, it forces you to wake up. I didn't want to wake up. I'm actually the opposite of paranoid, Paranoia is actually survival, and I didn't have enough of it.